22,580. That is how many GPT-2 models fit inside Kimi K3. GPT-2 shipped in 2019 with 124 million parameters. K3 shipped this month with 2.8 trillion. 7 years, a 22,580 times scale up. So the fair question is whether anything changed except size. It did. The thing that actually changed is how a model handles its own memory, what it writes down, what it overwrites, what it lets decay, and how it reads back what it threw away. Every architecture step between those two models is a fix for one specific memory problem. I am walking through all of them, with the code, in about 15 minutes, credit upfront. This is built on a work log by Ali, who posts as Waterloo Intern on X. He spent roughly 48 hours inside the K3 modeling code and wrote up the whole lineage. Links below. The root runs like this: KV cache, linear attention, DeltaNet, gating, Kimi Delta Attention, K3. 6 ideas, and each one exists because the one before it ran out of room. The odd part is that the skeleton barely moved. K3 blocks still look like GPT-2 blocks. So, GPT-2, decoder only, and the forward pass is about 8 lines long. Token embeddings, position embeddings, 12 blocks in a loop, a final layer norm, and a linear head that produces logits. The input gets 2 things added together: a token embedding, which says what the word is, and a position embedding, which says where it sits. That sum becomes the residual stream, and from here on, it is the only place information lives. Then every block does the same 2 moves: normalize, run attention, add the result back into the stream. Normalize again, run a small feed-forward network, add that back too. 12 of those stacked, and you have GPT-2. K3 still does exactly this. Attention itself is one projection split 3 ways into queries, keys, and values. Reshape so the heads sit in the batch dimension. Multiply Q by K transposed, scale by the square root of the head dimension, mask out the future with negative infinity, softmax, then multiply by V. At the end, the language model head turns that hidden state into a score for each of roughly 50,000 tokens. During generation, you only use the scores at the very last position. Everything else gets computed and dropped, which is a strange deal when you say it out loud. The model builds a full representation for every position in the prompt, and one decode step consumes exactly one of them. The rest is scaffolding for that single column. The KV cache falls out of that observation. You just generated a token, you append it, and a naive implementation would recompute the key and value projections for every token before it, so you keep them instead. That store of old keys and values is the cache. Now count the memory traffic. Every single decode step reads the whole cache back out of high bandwidth memory and writes one new row into it. The arithmetic is trivial, the moving of bytes is not, and the cache grows. 1 entry per previous token for the length of the context, with nothing ever leaving. Past a certain length, it stops being an optimization and becomes the bottleneck. That is the first wall, and the next 6 ideas are all attacks on it. For scale, 12 layers, 12 heads, an embedding width of 768, a vocabulary of about 50,000, 124 million parameters. That is the entire model we are comparing against. Look at where the nonlinearity sits. Softmax runs after the Q.K product, so every query is welded to every key, and you cannot regroup the maths. That coupling is exactly what forces you to keep all the old keys around. Linear attention moves the nonlinearity earlier. Apply a feature map, ELU plus 1, to Q and to K separately, before they ever meet. Now the product is reassociable, and you are allowed to change the order of the multiplications. That one permission changes the entire memory picture. Instead of holding n keys and n values, you fold them into a single fixed matrix, S plus equals K transposed times V. A running sum, D by D, and it is the same size after 10 tokens or 10 million. Reading is a matmul against that state, divided by a normalizer you accumulate alongside it. The cache stops depending on sequence length entirely. 2 enormous reads per step collapse into one small one, and the state never grows. Strip attention down, and it is 3 steps. Make the query key scores non-negative, divide by their sum, take a weighted average of the values. Softmax does step 1 with an exponential. Linear attention does it with a feature map. Same contract, different tool. This is the 2020 paper, Transformers are RNNs, from Katharopoulos and co-authors. The same paper reports up to 4,000 times faster autoregressive decoding on very long sequences. The work log has an aside here that I appreciated. The paper frames standard attention as scaling with the square of the sequence length, which reads wrong today, because flash attention fixed that. Then he checked the date, 2020, flash attention was still 2 years away. There is a real price though, and the paper is upfront about it. ELU plus 1 is a cruder approximation of the softmax kernel, so the scores are less expressive. How much quality you give up depends on the architecture and the workload. Now push that fixed state to its limit. A finite matrix cannot hand every token its own slot. Token 500 is added into the same D by D grid as token 1, on top of everything already written there. Queries can no longer pull back a clean copy of either. Schlag put it well in the fast-weight programmer's paper. Once the sequence outruns the storage, the model is in an overcapacity regime, and it should be deciding which key value pairs to keep and which to delete. Adding forever into a finite memory reaches a limit. That is the awkward trade underneath all of this. The regime that makes linear attention worth using, sequences far longer than the state is wide, is the same regime where associations start bleeding into each other, and the addition causing it is where the speedup came from. The delta rule fixes the right. Before storing anything, read the board at this key. Whatever comes back is what the model already believes about that key. Subtract that from the value you actually want to store and write only the difference. In code, it is 4 lines. V old equals K times S. U equals beta times V minus V old. S plus equals K transpose times U. Then read with Q times S, and there is no denominator anymore. That beta in front is a sigmoid of a projection of the input. Per token, per head, the model decides how hard to press the pen. Weak signal, faint write, strong signal, overwrite what was there. The reason any of this round trips is 2 lines of algebra. Write K transpose times V, read it back with the same K, and you get K dot K times V. Normalize K to unit length, and that scalar is 1, so V comes back out exactly as it went in, and the query is a learned pointer. WQ and WK read the same residual stream, so the query for a fact ends up aiming at the key direction that fact was written into. The model invents its own addressing scheme, and nobody hand designs it. So the old value is removed and the new one takes its place, instead of the two being smeared together. Same fixed memory, far less interference. That is DeltaNet, and it is the first time the model gets a real eraser. Next comes the section the author says took him about 7 hours to properly understand. He is not exaggerating, and it is the part that makes any of this trainable at scale. The problem is prefill. Written literally, the delta rule is a Python loop over tokens. Read the state, compute the correction, write the state, move to the next one. A GPU hates that. Thousands of tiny dependent steps and no large matmul to sink its teeth into. The fix is chunking. Split the sequence into blocks of size C and compute each block from 2 things: the state that came out of the previous block and this block's own queries, keys, and values. Sequential across blocks, fully parallel inside them, and the 2 levels use opposite orders. Inside a chunk you do real masked attention. Q times K transpose times V scores first. Across chunks you do the recurrent order, K transpose times V folded into the state first. Same maths, regrouped, which turns C into a dial rather than a constant. Set C to the full sequence length, and you have recovered ordinary quadratic attention. Set it to 1, and you are back to plain linear attention. Everything useful lives somewhere between those two. The cost splits cleanly in 2. A fixed piece, 2LD squared, which is the state work and does not care about C at all, and a growing piece, 2LCD, the score blocks sitting on the diagonal. Set C equal to L, and that second term becomes 2L squared D, quadratic again. So smaller C means fewer flops, and C equal to 1 is the cheapest of all, and it is still not the fastest. In practice, C is 64 or 128, because that is the shape tensor core instructions actually want. Fewest operations and least time are different questions. One catch, and it is a big one. That correction term needs every intermediate state, 1 per token, so you cannot simply chunk it. The additive version parallelizes. The delta version, written the obvious way, refuses. The 2024 NeurIPS paper rewrites the update instead. State times identity minus beta KK transposed plus beta VK transposed. That is a householder-style transition matrix, and with a small triangular inverse computed by forward substitution, all C corrections fall out in one shot. DeltaNet can replace a fact. What it cannot do is clear the desk. It only forgets an association when it has a specific replacement to write over it, which is no help at all when the topic switches and half the state just went stale. For purely additive attention, forgetting is 1 line. Multiply the old state by alpha before adding the new one. Decay everything slightly at every step and the state stops growing without bound. That is the Mamba 2 contribution. But a single scalar treats every stored association as equally disposable. Ask it to drop 1 fact and it fades all of them by the same amount. So precision and forgetting were sitting in 2 separate papers, each missing what the other had. Gated DeltaNet welds them together. 1 alpha per step. Set it to 1 and you have the pure delta rule back. Set it to 0 and the memory is wiped, and everything in between is a controlled fade. NVIDIA published it in December 2024. The bookkeeping is a cumulative product. A token written at step X and read T steps later has been multiplied by every alpha in between, which is a prefix sum with multiplication in place of addition. Fiddly to make fast, and they made it fast. Around here, people stopped picking one attention type. Hybrid stacks appear, mostly cheap linear layers with a few full attention layers sprinkled through, so exact recall is still on the table when the model needs it. The full attention layers are usually multi-head latent attention, which compresses the keys and values down into a small latent vector before caching them, so even the expensive layers carry a lighter cache than GPT-2 would. Kimi Linear got attention for a bolder claim than speed. Under controlled comparisons at match scale, it beat full attention. Not matched it, beat it, across short context, long context, and reinforcement learning runs. The numbers behind that: 48 billion parameters with 3 billion active, 3 linear layers for every full attention layer, up to 6 times the decode throughput, and 75% less KV cache at 1 million tokens. The actual contribution sounds smaller than it is. Instead of one scalar decay for the whole state, learn a separate decay for every channel. Some dimensions of the memory hold on for thousands of tokens, while others flush almost immediately. Next to a plain DeltaNet transformer, 3 things are different. Latent attention layers interleave through the stack, a mixture of experts where the MLP used to be, and that extra alpha projection paying for per-channel control. And that is the argument the whole work log is making. The added capacity has a job. Scaling laws still hold, but parameters have to land somewhere the system can actually use them, in a form it can use. Kimi K3 is that architecture, grown. 23 macrocycles, 4 layers each. 3 of the 4 run Kimi Delta Attention, and the 4th is a latent attention layer. 92 layers, with 1 exact recall layer every 4. The first layer keeps a dense feed-forward network. Every layer after it swaps in a mixture of experts operating in a compressed latent space, which cuts the traffic between GPUs when the model is spread across a data center. There are 898 experts in there. 2 are shared and see every single token. Of the remaining 896, the router picks 16. Under 2% of the model fires for any given word. Latent attention got a gate as well. A projection of the input multiplies the retrieved features element by element, so the layer decides how much of what it just looked up actually reaches the residual stream. The query side runs through a low-rank projection too. The activation changed as well, to something called SiTU, a tanch-clamped gate multiplied into the up projection. Without a fuse kernel, it runs about 3 times slower than the old path, and the latent space experts nearly have the flops, so the trade still comes out positive. Then the piece I found most interesting: attention residuals. Normally, a layer sees the embedding plus every earlier layer output, all added with equal weight. A linear layer and an attention layer get handed the identical soup, and later layers have to shout louder and louder to be heard over the pile. Attention weights that sum instead. Every term gets an alpha from a query key dot product, with a query learned per layer and keys taken from earlier residual states, softmaxed to sum to 1. A layer can reach back and choose which earlier layers it wants to hear from. Doing that at every layer would cost too much, so it happens at block boundaries once every 12 layers, which works out to 8 blocks across the stack, about 2% more inference latency, and roughly a quarter more training efficiency in return. And notice the symmetry. The linear layers run on a constant size state and have to drop things. Latent attention reaches back across the context. AttnRes reaches back across depth, the same hole, patched from 2 directions. Put it together and you get 1 million tokens of context, decoding several times faster than full attention would at that length, in the largest open-weight model released so far. It landed on the 16th of July, 2026. And after all that, look at the block again. Normalize, attend, add. Normalize, feed forward, add. The residual stream that GPT-2 shipped in 2019 is still the spine. What changed is what hangs off it. So, back to the 22,580. Was it just scale? Scale is most of the parameter count and close to none of the design. Every step in that chain changed what gets stored, how it gets updated, or how it gets read back. Boil the whole lineage down, and it is one sentence. A fixed capacity associative memory needs an eviction policy, because a purely additive write eventually collides with itself. Gating, routing, and decay are all learned answers to that. All of this traces back to Ali, Waterloo intern on X, whose work log is linked in the description along with every paper I mentioned. He credits Chloe for the attention residual section. Go read the original, it has the runnable code. One question I keep chewing on. If a bigger state only moves the wall further out, how much of the next 7 years is new architecture and how much is a better eviction policy?